You know, one of the things I love about Sony is that they actually make their mobile phones water resistant, which is actually a big differentiator between them and a lot of the other manufacturers out there. Today we're taking a look at Sony's Xperia X model, and I gotta say, this is actually a pretty cool phone. First of all, 5-inch screen, so a little bit smaller than some of the other ones we've seen at 5.5 inch, but it actually gives it a little bit of that slim sort of look as well, which I like. It kind of reminds me of some of the early iPhone versions, to be honest with you.
Yeah, not everybody wants a phone that's around 5.5 inches, which seems to be the new standard these days. But so if you're looking for something around the 5-inch mark, I think the Xperia X series is a great phone.
A couple of things that I noticed right off the bat which were interesting is that it has the power button on the side of the phone, which actually threw me for a little bit of a loop the first couple of times that I was getting used to using it. But once I got through that, it's not a big deal.
They actually changed it because they used to have the power button, used to be a circular one where you could just feel it with your hand. This time they made it flat, so it doesn't really stick out on the side of the phone, but you can still feel it with your fingers if you are grabbing it and putting it in your hand.
One of the big things that people are talking about with the new Sony Xperia X phone is the camera that's built into it. It's got a lot of very cool features. For example, the predictive autofocus feature is actually very cool. It's an adaptive feature that actually allows you, when you frame your subject and you're taking a photo, if that person starts to move in the picture, it will actually keep the focus on that person. I thought that feature was very cool.
And the great thing about it, it's in an auto mode, because if you look at the majority of people who use their smartphone, they don't get into the manual modes and all the other features. So it's great that they put that in the auto mode of the camera.
Yeah, speaking about camera, one of the other things I liked about the Sony, the Xperia X here is that it has this one little button here on the side, which actually when I first saw it, I thought it was the power button. If you take a look there, what that is an actual button that allows you to go into quick camera mode. And this is actually pretty cool because when you take the phone out of your pocket and you want to grab a quick shot, like perhaps somebody just spilled something or there's something really cool just happening, well, you literally just grab it, you press the button. It actually takes the picture before it's even turned the screen on. So that's how fast that works. I thought that was a really neat feature.
And another great feature I like about it is that they placed the button on the bottom right-hand corner of the phone, not on the top where you would normally see the power button, but when you put it into a landscape mode, it's exactly where you would expect, you know, a shutter button to happen.
And one of the things that Sony did differently from the previous Xperia phones is they used to have plugs that covered up the holes to make it water resistant. Well, now they actually have open holes. For example, the microphone jack and also the power slot are both open but still water resistant.
What I find really impressive, though, is that they decided not to go with USB Type-C, and they're still using the micro USB. And for a lot of people, they might not be ready to make that switch to USB-C because they don't have those
Change
cables.
all their adapters?
Yeah,
that's
and we've experienced that firsthand. So it's nice that you could still get a new phone, but it's still using micro USB.
Yeah, one critical thing I will say, I was surprised by the weight in this phone, especially for a 5-inch screen. But you know, if you don't mind a little bit more heft in your pocket, you know, the Sony Xperia X might be a series that's worth looking at.